This story has been about 30 years in the making. I had this really awesome opportunity to interview my dad, and to see the catharsis that has been brought to his life is something that is truly priceless, and I feel honored and privileged to be able to help him tell his story. And the reason why he never really was able to tell it is he never really had the platform, but most importantly is he was afraid of offending his very indoctrinated children. His experience of it is quite interesting because he actually was part of a lot of gatherings and goings on within the congregation. You see a lot of parents and spouses asking for advice on how to handle the event that kids are involved with a parent who's a witness. What do you do? Some parents react differently than my dad did. Interestingly, he was never in the religion, yet he still felt the harmful effects of it. And to this day, he still does. He just always kind of had to, well, you know what? Let's let him tell the story. So, hello, Ron.
Hello, Wendy.
I'm going to call him Dad. I wanted to bring you onto my channel. And you're how many years now? 40, 35 years experience at least.
With your religion?
Yeah, easily.
Oh, you started that stuff in around the mid-'80s, because I remember the Mets won the World Series, and that's when you just told me you're becoming Jehovah's Witnesses. That's it.
So if you can...
It's the Mets' fault.
What was it like for you?
Oh, it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
I mean, when I went to court with your mom to discuss visitation and all that good stuff that comes along with divorces, I was told I have to let you go to Jehovah's Witness meetings, all right, only if you wanted to. But I knew that if you decided we don't want to go to meetings, there would be hell to pay when you went home. So I had to make a decision. Do I let you do what you really wanted? And I knew you didn't want to, but you were brainwashed. So I said, all right, live by the serenity prayer. At the moment, I can't remember what it is.
God
grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I kind of live by that prayer on a lot of things, and it really helped me through with your religion. So what I did was I let you go to your meetings. Do your meetings, I'd go there, I'd pick you up. And I got to be friendly with all the elders that were there. I guess they respected for what I was doing because I wasn't a total nutcase. We got invited to barbecues and basketball games and everything after the meetings, and I became friends with them. And that's really pretty much how I dealt with it. You know, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, and that's what I did. None of them really pushed their stuff on me because they knew it wasn't going to work.
And I remember growing up, you never spoke badly about the religion. Like you
No,
never...
other than the fact that you're brainwashed, no, I didn't.
Yeah, but you never, and I was as in can be. I was a pioneer, and then even when I was disfellowshipped, you came to my reinstatement meeting.
Oh, yeah.
You came to baptisms.
I supported everything he did. Bobby had to do his speech. I made sure I drove an hour and a half to hear his talk.
Would you say that one of the biggest reasons why you took a step back and almost emotionally separated yourself from it was because you knew that you were doing whatever you can to keep us in your life?
Oh, yeah. If I didn't cooperate with your religion, I would have never saw you again. I have 2 children now. They see me, they love me, I'm their dad. But they don't hang out with me because I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. They could say all they want, oh, and that's not the case, but it is. I have a son, he drove right into the area where I live, didn't call me, and I don't pressure him, he's got enough pressures. And but I know if I were a Jehovah's Witness, he'd have stopped and we'd have hung out and had a great time.
So you're not even a baptized witness who's not even participating, and even you experienced the soft shunning.
Oh, yeah. I guess shunning's the word. And they're avoiding me because I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. I know for a fact that I'm not a Jehovah's Witness, and kind of walk a thin line here because, your father's worldly and you really shouldn't be with him.
So when it comes to having small children, and now there are believers and non-believers in a marriage who are now getting their kids baptized, I see a lot of parents making videos and commenting how they just want to fight for their kids and pull them out. Because once you wake up to it, you can't unhear what you now hear. You can't unsee what you now see about the religion. I also remember, had you said anything to me about it, had you told me I was in a cult, had you tried to pull me out, I don't think I would have listened.
It would have sent you the other way. I wouldn't have saw you. I used to tell Barbara all the time. Barbara's my wife, by the way. Mm-hmm. I used to tell her all the time, I either have to go along with this deal or they're out of my life. Mm-hmm. I have 4 children, 4 different personalities. Mm-hmm. And if I don't play the game for all 4 of you, I'll lose all 4 of you.
So when the time came for us to now go to every single meeting, but you had us on weekends, and you're not a witness now, how did it work out where even on your weekends, we still went? How did that happen?
Well, the courts read in the final decree of the divorce that I must let you do what you choose. Mm-hmm. And I knew that if you didn't choose Jehovah's Witnesses on Sundays, mm-hmm. that there'd be hell to pay for you kids when I took you home. Armageddon was going to happen when I dropped you off. There was going to be earthquakes, fires, and all that good stuff that God punishes you with. So you took us to
the meetings to protect us, knowing we were going to be indoctrinated.
Oh, yes. Because I had no choice, because if I didn't, I know what you would have went through when you went home.
And you came to the meetings to see what we were getting involved with. To watch the people.
And I didn't agree with it, but there's nothing I could have done. Because if I fought back, the 6 days before I saw you again, you would have been pumped into your brain. Yep. We don't want to see Daddy next week.
Yep, you're right, because that's the kind of stuff that would actually
I would have lost. I would have lost you, and we wouldn't be having this conversation today.
And I absolutely remember you would come to the barbecues and the gatherings that we were invited to, that the congregation would have. And he would show up to the parties on his weekends. And in my head, as a little kid growing up, it was, oh, cool, Daddy he just might come into this religion. And I never lost hope. But you probably never lost hope either that I would wake up.
Exactly. I'd wear a flag, U.S. Air Force, a veteran, American flag. Mm-hmm. I would wear shirts with the American flag on it just to aggravate people.
I think the fact that you're not a baptized witness or not disfellowshipped made it different than some other people who are dealing with this, where the divorced spouse wants to indoctrinate and baptize their children. I think in your case, for being a non-believer, you had a little bit more leverage there. You had a little bit more, but all in one click, you lost your kids to not only a divorce, but you lost your kids. Now you lost holidays, birthdays, you lost everything all at once, and you still played the game.
Oh, yeah.
For decades.
I had no choice.
I guess that's what you do as a parent, isn't it?
I had friends that argued and said, I wouldn't put up with that. Mm. And they didn't see their kids. I said, well, there you go. You won. You're a tough man. You didn't put up for it. And now you don't see your kids.
It was after the divorce that my mother was discovered, through door to door. So all at once, I'm now baptized at 10 years old. I don't see my dad as often. My mom joins a religion. It was just all, but to me, this was my normal. Chaos was my normal. And it wasn't until in my late 30s, early 40s that I wake up and I'm finally getting all the pieces put back together. So come to find out, my dad and other family members were kind of watching from the sidelines, knowing full well we were being indoctrinated into a cult. And I could not imagine. I even tell my dad this all the time. I couldn't imagine being a mom right now and my kids just being whisked away to some religion that I know is going to change their life as we all knew it. I don't know how you guys did it.
Well, it breaks up families.
Yeah.
Because your brother
Yep.
He's 12 years old. They
Yeah.
baptize him. I mean, 12 years old. They're supposed to know who's to serve, Jehovah, God, Allah, Buddha, whoever.
Yeah, so to give context, my older brother was baptized at 12, and he got to be a teenager and he didn't believe it anymore. In one of my previous videos, I mentioned that my mother just kicked him out because he got disfellowshipped. Tell me a little bit about what it was like for you helping Ronnie being disfellowshipped all those years, knowing full well we couldn't, and disfellowshipping just took a huge toll on our family.
Oh, jeez. Well, anytime they came to the house, if I said Ronnie was coming, they wouldn't come.
I remember ignoring him in public and thinking I was doing a good thing, thinking I was a good person. He missed everything. He missed
Everything.
Religion divided everybody.
The religion broke up the entire family.
If my father was a witness,
I
couldn't talk to him.
If I ever become a Jehovah's Witness, I have a son on the other side of the country who was disfellowshipped. So, do I not ever talk to him again? No, that's never going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't a God in the universe that is going to have me turn my back on my children.
That's what's normal. That's, in my opinion, where God is. That's what I think is, you don't separate the parent-child bond because of difference of beliefs.
Exactly.
It just doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
The one thing I also find extremely interesting, if you can tell the story about how when I was going in and have a C-section with my daughter,
Oh.
with the blood issue.
So this year she's having a baby, and the birth isn't going well, and they're almost giving her her last rites on the table. And I get to go talk to her, and they're telling me that she may die giving birth. And I'm freaking out. This is all over blood. And her mother and her stepfather are telling me, it's Jehovah's choice. I'm going wild. They were ready. If something would have happened to her, you would have saw me on the news.
For something so preventable.
No.
And I couldn't imagine that as a parent. So you parents out there, I am a child of what it is that you are battling right now. And I was very indoctrinated. Very. I mean, I think I preached to you every time. Every time.
And I say, yeah. And when I dropped you off, there was always a little watchtower thing in my car.
Looking back, I'm glad you handled things the way that you did.
I had no other way of doing it. I would have lost all of you. Negative just feeds the Jehovah's Witnesses. Right?
Yes, and which is true, because there's the persecution complex where if people question your beliefs or if they make you doubt your beliefs, Jehovah's Witnesses believe that they're the only true religion, right? So my own father was out to get me. That is what makes you feel good as a witness.
And your job is to lure me in.
Yeah, well, of course.
So the more I fought, the harder you fought.
Wow. And I remember, I was always conflicted though. I gotta say, there's a natural tendency in me to call you up on Father's Day, call you up on your birthday, and things like that.
Well, that was the funny thing. You celebrate anniversaries, but you don't celebrate birthdays.
Of course.
So I would call all my children up on their birthday and say, happy anniversary on your birth.
And it felt really good.
That was okay. They liked that.
But Jehovah's Witnesses do always toe the line a little bit. Like they'll have turkey on Thanksgiving Day, or they'll Friendsgiving. Like they'll toe the line a little bit, and they'll call each other on their birthdays. But it's okay amongst witnesses.
It's okay, yeah.
It's all these years later. When you look back on raising 4 kids in the religion, at one point, and probably within the last couple of decades, one of us have been disfellowshipped, and we have this guy who never believed it. But disfellowshipping takes its toll on a person psychologically. I'm sure many of you can agree with that. If you're not going through it already, you know someone who has. And so yet, he still watched me go through being disfellowshipped and not missing a meeting and fighting to get back. Came to my meeting of reinstatement.
And there is nothing I could have done. Had I gone there and been violent?
Yeah. Which I'm sure you wanted to many times.
We wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah. And the things that we were exposed to in that congregation were well, emotionally deadly,
Yes.
basically. Crimes were committed, things like that. But my reason for wanting to interview my father is because I see so many questions and videos in the groups asking what to do, or if there's any advice for someone who has young children and their spouse keeps trying to pull them into it.
You have to play the game. It's the only way. If you go against the grain, you're not going to win.
Yeah, and that's how I'm able to talk to you now. Like, because he stayed in my life, he stayed present, and to me, I think that's.
I tried looking at the positive side of it.
This is why I say nothing is all good or all bad. There were some good points to me being in the religion. It taught me how to be a respectful person. You know, when we look at situations we've been through, I'm sure you've been through a lot in your life where you can't think of things as all bad or all good. But the fact remains is that our family is never going to be together.
Never. I'll never see all 4 of my children ever together again.
I'm so sorry that you experienced all of this. But I'm really grateful that now we can tell this story.
Took 20 years.
Decades, yes, to tell.
If you're dealing with children and they're in a cult, whether it's Jehovah's Witnesses or any religion, you have to play the game or you'll lose your children. You make your choice. The more negative you are, that gives them strength. So
True.
you cannot be negative. You have to play the game. And really, that's it. Take your choice.
Daddy, thank you so much for coming on my channel. I know you've been waiting. This is your moment.
My moment.
You've been waiting for decades to get this story
I
out.
wear my Yankee hat, but the way they're playing.
No. We all know how difficult that is for him to have done, and thank you so much for being a part of my dad telling his story. It has brought him relief, but throughout the years, there was a lot of pain that he had to endure. And you know, I'm a parent now, and I gotta say, I could not imagine being so patient and kind and dealing with what he dealt with. Happy Father's Day to you, Daddy. Thank you so much for being there for me and for the kids, for all of us. You truly are a light in this world. I'm looking forward to seeing you back on my next video. If you want to be a guest on the show, please email me, wendirenay@gmail.com, and we'll get you on the show if you want to tell your story. That's all we have today. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.